Hi everyone, this video is to go over the new template project that we will be using for all of the new projects that come in. Basically, as it sounds, it's a template that contains some existing tasks as well as some notebooks and then roles. Basically, now when a new project comes in, I will be making a copy of this project and renaming it. That way we've already got some tasks and things in place. Hopefully that will help us better manage each phase of the project, because then we'll actually be able to use the Teamwork Project sorting functionality to find projects in various phases. So the first thing I want to go over, which I think I went over in the previous video briefly, is project roles. So if you go to the people in a project, you can click on roles, and you'll see for this template project I've defined the following roles. The owner is the person from the agency who has requested this on behalf of the client. So they own providing all of the feedback and content and those things. We've got our technical project managers, so that's Jerome, Koj, and Justine. Kind of separated them at that technical level from client project managers, which would be Ryan, Hillary, and I. So we have the direct face with the clients, and these guys do manage our team. And then of course we've got the design team here, build team, and then security launch team. I'm open to suggestions on the name of this team. And then we've got our edits team and content. So basically these roles are defined here, but I've also used them in creating the basic tasks, because I didn't want, as soon as I clone the project, it to be already everything assigned to people, but I wanted to identify the role who would be responsible for each project. So you'll see here in the task that I have set up, after the description or after the title of the task, I've got the role. So CPM would be client project manager. I've got projects or tasks assigned to owner, technical project manager, design team, so on and so forth. So hopefully that will help you understand as you're working through this who needs to be assigned to which task. So I'll go through some of these basic tasks that I have set up here from the beginning. Project setup is just here to remind me, and in the future any other project managers that we hire on, what tasks they need to do in order to set up this project. So basically all of these tasks will be completed at setup, and you guys won't need to worry about that. But if you're interested in looking at them, you can click on it, review all the steps that we take when we set up the project. So basically when I set this up, I'll do these things, check them off, and then hopefully none of you will have to see any of them. The design phase, as you know, is optional. Sometimes people choose to give us the design, so I've noted that in the task list name. I also have some descriptions in the task lists, as well as the milestones to help with the agencies, and you as well if you want to read these. These are our help docs that we're using in the Teamwork Help Desk. So once I've done this initial setup, I will start assigning tasks out in this order. So this first one would be for the owner of the project. Again, that's the agency, the person responsible at the agency for providing these things. So if they are giving us a design PSD, then I would assign this to them. Sometimes people will send us wireframes or those kinds of things, logos, any other files that they need to send. So I will use this task, kind of rename it and assign it out to the owner. Once that's done, then I will assign this task out, and right now Jerome is our main technical project manager who will be assigning these projects out still. So then Jerome will have this task assigned to him, and that's his trigger to decide who's best to do it, and then come in here and actually assign this next task to create the initial design concept to the appropriate person on the design team. So here's the difference. As opposed to us assigning things from that Sitology overview list, you'll have an actual task within the project assigned to you. Once you've completed that initial design concept, you can upload it directly to this task, and that will notify Jerome and I. And then we can go ahead and notify the site owner that that design is ready for review. Once I do that notification, I'm actually going to assign tasks to the owner to create those design edits. So just like they do in Basecamp, they'll still be creating individual tasks for discrete edits on the design as well as in programming stage. But this is a task assigned to them to remind them to do it. So we kind of liked the idea of them having that ownership, and it'll be easy for us to see at what stage we're in because this is still assigned to them and open. Once they're ready for approval, they'll indicate that on this task here. That'll notify me. At that point, we will assign the task to the designer, whoever created the design, to upload the PSDs. And then again, Jerome will be responsible still for then assigning that off to the programming team. One thing I want to note is that for both design phase and programming phase, I've got two separate task lists here. The first list is for our general tasks that will happen in every single project. The second list is the actual edits task, and this is where I will be directing clients, the owners, the agents, to create their tasks. That way we've got this separate. And you'll also notice that I've got some sample tasks in here. You'll see these in every project now, just kind of as an example of how to write good tasks for our agents, for our agencies. So these won't ever be assigned to anybody. They'll just sit here until this design phase is over, and then we can close them out and move on to programming. So again, once we've got the design approval, Jerome will have that task to assign to a programmer and also to set up the account. Notice that I do have details in the description for these tasks to kind of remind us what we're doing. I know that most of you have this down pat and you don't really have to think about it too hard, but as we expand in the future, this will help with training anybody new. They won't have to remember everything because it's written down. So once Jerome creates that account and assigns and is ready to assign it, he'll assign this task to whoever is building the team. So that's the actual create the developmental site task. So again, I've got a lot of details in here about what kinds of things go along with that. I know that you guys know a lot of this, but it's here in case we need to expand or just as a nice checklist for yourself to make sure that everything's complete. Once the site is built, you'll still update the now notebooks, not whiteboards, but the notebooks, and then you can check off this task, and then it will move to Jerome and I's court to review the site and then notify the owner. That moves us into the content and build out phase. I know right now we call them, once we've developed the site, it's really kind of add content and launch as one big phase. But because there's a lot of discussion around launch, I feel like it might be better to separate that out. There's usually a lot of back and forth with the agencies about what information we need, do they have email, all that fun stuff. So we're pulling that out separately now and just kind of treating it as a separate phase. So again, the content and build out is much like the design. I've got two separate lists for it. So the first one has our tasks that will happen in every single project. So upload and they're actually all, will all be assigned to the owner in this case because they're the ones that have to give us the information. But then the owners will be instructed to add their edits in this list, the content and programming edits list. And again, you'll see I've got some sample tasks in here for them to give them an idea of how to do it well. Once they have given this final approval for launch, we'll move into the launch phase. And just like now, I'll set those launch dates both in Teamwork and on our shared Google Calendar. I know that's a little redundant, but just feel like it helps keep track of everything. So we'll keep doing that until I'm confident in Teamwork reminding us. Again, whoever's launching the site, usually Vincent, sometimes Ryan and I, we've got all of the steps, the sub-steps, sub-tasks, whatever you want to call them, in this task as well, so that no more referring to a separate document as a checklist. You've got it all right here. And then notify the owner that the site is live once that's checked off, and then I will add it to billing. The last thing that I will do is actually change the category of the project. So again, you'll notice that we've got categories set up. I'm going to go over to this project page, and it'll be moved into support and hosting. And I do also have the hosting only and support only subcategories there. So if it's both support and hosting, we'll leave it here. If it's one or the other, we'll put it there. I think that's everything I've got on that template project. It's a work in progress and kind of an experiment to see how this goes. So feel free to share your feedback with your managers or with me directly if you just want to shoot an email with some suggestions or even complaints, and definitely open to working on this and making sure it works well for all of us so that we have less work to do and we can check things all in one place in the future. Thanks for your time. Let us know if you have any questions.